some minyanim that are connected with the Shabbos. Yesterday we spoke about the number of days and about Tisha. Here, right here, Shulchan Aruch.
Oh
yes, bring some sugar.
okay.
Shalom Aleichem. I'll see you in a while since last night.
Yesterday.
Since last night.
Since last night, it's a long time.
Okay.
A lot of things can happen when
The Mashiach to
I thought it was going to be a longer time.
even in 1 hour, Mashiach to come. By the time tomorrow, but will we know about it if he came in the next 40 minutes?
It'll be in the news.
The way I was brought up, first Eliyahu had this to come and blow a shite. The whole world, everyone's going to hear what's going on. 3 days later,
it's good.
Some people say he's going to come after Mashiach's Machlokes.
okay.
The Maise is,
What?
yeah, the Arizal's yard set is tonight. Hey,
Oh
off.
my God.
Tomorrow's going to be a big flocking to the Arizal's caver and the Arizal's mikveh.
Where is that?
Spas.
It's Spas.
Yeah. They have the mikveh there that the Arizal was told them.
I'm trying to remember, maybe was I ever there at the shore? I don't think I was there in Spas. And it could be, maybe a long time.
The Arizal's buried near the Arizal.
Is the Beis Yosef, no?
Beis Yosef is in a different part, but in the same Beis Achayim in a different section. Not close, in another area. But the Arizal, right next to the Arizal, is the Ramak, another big Makor Moshe Kardavaro. The Arizal learned. Rabbi Shlomo Al-Kabitz, who's the Mechaber of the Chadoidi. Chadoidi comes from Shlomo, has his name in the beginning of each Shlomo Alevi. Meaning Shamar, Shin. So there are three altogether.
I think someone was like a brother-in-law or son-in-law over there, I'm not sure. Maybe the Ramak with the Beis Yosef, maybe, I'm not sure.
Sure.
Somebody
But it's that he's all at the same time.
was
The Gedolim were at the same time.
Yeah,
You know, the Ramah lived at the same time as the Beis Yosef, just he lived in Krakow, Poland.
wow.
Beis Yosef was in Sfas.
Wow.
The Ramah actually made a sefer, the same style, similar style like the Beis Yosef.
In other words, on
The Torah.
on the Shulchan Aruch,
On the Torah.
On the Torah.
To explain the Torah and
The Beis Yosef was on the Torah before
Yeah.
he got the Shulchan Aruch, but I thought maybe
while the Ramah saw that the Beis Yosef preceded him.
Yeah, why?
So he said the Ari from Eretz Yisrael, the lion from Eretz Yisraal already preceded me.
Yeah.
So he didn't have what to write, so he said
Wow.
that he's only going to write where he's choilik.
Oh, Hagos, that's it.
He'll write Darkei Moshe, where he only wrote. This is all on the Torah. He wrote a sefer Darkei Moshe wherever he's choilik on the Beis Yosef. Then later on, they each wrote Beis Yosef wrote the Shulchan Aruch, and the Ramah went and wrote notes on the Shulchan Aruch, which is all the Makairis for each are in their respective svarim. The Mechaber comes from Beis Yosef, and the Ramah comes from his Darkei Moshe, which are works on the Torah.
But I mean, the finalized psak, like in Shulchan Aruch, is not like.
It doesn't have sources there. If you want to know the sources, you got to learn earlier.
So you know what someone once told me. I heard, I don't know, there's people that learn Torah Beis Yosef to have a seder. So once I met a guy in the country, much older than me, he told me that it says there, I don't know if it's in the Torah or Beis Yosef, that a person that learns Torah, like a real Torah learning guy, he could daven in the place where he learns by himself without going to the minyan. And now this is not like Allah
From a Beis Yosef.
Right. So he told me this, and because I knew an Adam Gadol that did this. Okay,
Now, boys, let's take a look.
So I always had a question on it. Okay.
I would like to learn some interesting dinim that are connected to Shabbos.
Okay, what page?
This common Shabbos we're talking about?
What page?
Shabbos.
The Shabbos period, not the Shabbos Tisha.
Shabbos in general.
In general.
Shabbos Tisha we spoke about yesterday.
What page, please?
Page in the Shulchan Aruch. We talked about Shnai Mechartargim. Page Reish Tzaddik Gimel.
Reish
Tzaddik Gimel.
Tzaddik Gimel. Reish
Reish Tzaddik Gimel. We read last week the dinner. We learned last week the dinner Mishnayim Mikra ve'Chatargum. Oilem recalls.
Simmer
Reish Peivav. Dinim Tfilas Musaf v'Shabbos. Man Tfilas Musaf. When is the time for Musaf? Masl miyad achar Tfilas Shachar. After the Spal Shachris, even if one daven Shachar is the first available time you can daven, you can daven Musaf right away. Musaf doesn't have a beginning time. It's right after Shachris. Shizman hakravas ha-Musaf mas liyad acher kravas ha-Musaf. What is the carbon Musaf? Carbon Musaf means the additional. Additional carbonis that are brought l'kavet Shabbos or l'kavet Rish Chodesh. Anytime we're davening at Tfilas Musaf, because there was a carbon Musaf brought, and additional carbonis that were brought. So l'maisa, when was the time to bring the carbon Musaf? After the carbon Tamid. Shachas corresponds to carbon Tamid. So as soon as you brought the carbon Tamid, no matter what time, as early it is, you can already daven Musaf.
Carbon Tamid has a time, though.
Carbon Tamid has a time. Carbon Tamid, but Musaf has to just follow carbon Tamid. We're talking about the beginning of the Zman. When's the ending of the Zman? Sif base. Ein la'achar tfilas Musaf yoysim misheva shoyis alayoyim. One is not supposed to delay davening Musaf more than 7 hours into the day. That is shah achar chatzos, 1 hour after chatzos. What? Now, v'hama'achar kol kach, someone who delays it so much to an hour after chatzos, nikra pesheya, is called a pesheya. He's negligent.
This is shoyes manis.
Yeah, shoyes manis. Chatzos we mean not 12 o'clock. We mean the shoyes manis depending what.
It's 1 o'clock about. 1.
Yeah, it's about 1 now.
1 or something. Yeah.
So an hour after, and how much is that every hour? Do you know the increments of the hour? Shoyes manis. Much more than 60 minutes. Yeah. More than 60 minutes to make it come
Because it's summertime.
Chatzos, yeah. To make it come to 1. So Lamai said it's probably around 70 minutes. Probably around 70 minutes.
In this shul, we daven most of them after 1.
You start Musaf after 1?
Sometimes it depends what time.
No, you're allowed to daven until an hour after Chatzos.
Until an hour after.
Hour after Chatzos. Most times the things don't happen. Talking about someone late, very late. Afa became, even though you're called a pesheya, it doesn't mean that you're not yoitze. You're just given a title pesheya. Kain yoitze de chevas, which is a man akoliyin, because be'etzim you can daven most of the whole day. It has to be between the 2 tzmidin, the morning tamid and the evening tamid. Not only that, but he says when it comes to we're more makel, even though minchas keneged carbon tamid. We're makel that if someone daven mincha first by accident and he forgot he didn't daven musaf, he can daven musaf. Afilu kvar spalo mincha, choyzer mispalo musaf k'moshi's bar. Once he forgot till the evening, that already it's too late. Ain't lo tashlumin. K'moshi shel shar tfilas. The chiddush over here is that you don't have tashlumin. What does it mean tashlumin? Every tefillah you miss out a tefillah. If it was b'shoygig, we give you tashlumin. You can make it up.
Most of it can.
You miss shachrit daven mincha twice, mincha daven ma'ariv twice, ma'ariv daven shachris twice, 2 shmones. Musaf you don't make up. Musaf you can't make up.
You could daven Musaf, it says here after mincha, and you're not davening.
If you forgot,
you're
should daven it before
mincha. It's not tashlumin, right? You're actually davening Musaf after mincha, not two shmanesras of mincha, right? You're davening Musaf, right?
It's still bismillah, I said.
No, I'm saying so.
Even though it's out of order,
it doesn't have tashlumin, but it's better because here you're saying the real thing.
Well, no, but what happens if shachach you didn't daven at all?
You mean it's already after mincha? It's dark already.
Yeah, chashecha. That's the ending of the base.
Okay, so
that's already a bigger issue.
No, but that would be the same with any tefillah. What do you do
No,
with
after Chashaycha you have Tashlumin. If you miss the tefillah b'shoigig,
Yeah, which one?
for example, you miss
Either way,
Shacharis,
minute
even
and Shacharis
Shacharis?
also.
You miss
Well, let me hear.
Shacharis.
Wait, let me hear.
b'shoigig you miss Shacharis, he
Yeah.
wasn't feeling well,
Yeah, whatever.
whatever it
Yeah,
was, b'shoigig.
Yeah, okay.
B'mezid, you're not
Not
yoid.
talking about
B'shoigig, if he missed Shacharis, he could daven mincha twice.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
but you.
That's called Tashlumin.
I know that, but what about Mishachashcha? It's finished, right?
But for mincha you can make up Mishach HaSheicha for by two davening two myras.
Two miles.
Right.
But Musaf you can't daven two myras.
With the kabbalah stick, you make them. With the kabbalah stick, if the tefillahs are connected to carbon, if you in Bisman Shah basically the Shoy Kai was the tashlum of the carbon.
No.
So
We're more
did you
make
say-
with we're
No,
more
but
make
I'm saying-
we're more make
Well,
with
what's
few.
happening?
Oh, was there
If they
Tashlumin?
connected, they connected the carbon. What? How?
I don't
why
know.
is?
I
I'm just asking why tashlum would help. Because the mincha is b'makom the carbon.
I first don't know the din of karbanis. I think there's no Tashlumin. Over Yoimi Batal Karbani
Yeah.
in the Dumali.
So there's no tashlum for that. So why should it be? A
Because
tashlum?
we're more make with tefillah. We are more make with tefillah. B'chalal over here we say that after Shacharis, if you daven mincha first, you can still daven Musaf.
Don't
Do you have it?
dark it.
It's not dark. You still
it's
daven
not-
Musaf.
it's not-
You already brought the car. It's you quote unquote brought the carbon time by daven mincha. We're more make with tefillah. We don't treat it mamish the same as Dragon.
I just want to say my question.
Yeah, say it.
Shulchan Aruch here say, "Bin shachafay spalo meaning Musaf asher chasheicha ein letashlumin kamo sheyesh l'shat tefillas." What I want to say is,
I'll explain you why.
tefillah that you have tashlumin la'achar shechasheicha is mincha.
Right,
You
right.
can't do shachris.
Right,
afterwards.
right, 100%.
So what was bothering me? Why it says shart tefillas? That's
Oh, why do you say lashon
what I
shart
want, but
tefillos?
This is what I'm trying to.
Oh, shart tefillos he means. I hear you asking. Shart tefillos he means. He doesn't mean l'gabi chashecha. He means b'chlal. All tefillas have a tashlumin by the next tefillah.
Okay.
Musaf doesn't have a tashlum by the next tefillah. Musaf doesn't have a tashlum by the next tefillah.
There's no
All right,
tashlum at all.
but you could say Musaf after mincha. So I mean,
Fine, that you can do.
Yeah,
That
that's not
that's not tashlumin. That's the actual
That's
mincha.
part of
Actual-
the actual
that's
mitzvah.
That's actual
That's
musaf.
zman.
But now they let you know the din that you're allowed to daven musaf after mincha.
yeah.
So now I need to know what happens if I totally forgot musaf.
So Taki, yeah.
So now I would think if I could daven musaf after mincha, so just like mincha is tashlum mishach hashecha.
So maybe Muslim.
Maybe musaf also has.
The answer is no.
No.
Answer is no. Why not? The Alter Rebbe doesn't talk about it over here, but he refers us to Siman Kuf Ches, which talks about making mistakes in davening, not davening, tashlumin, all these dinim. But there he explains like this: How could you read the psukim of karbanis? Kili, you bring a carbon. La'achri the zman. It's not gonna help. You can't bring carbon musaf after the zman.
Pickle.
That's what I asked before.
Pickle.
If it's tied together, so then you can't. If you can't make tashlum on the carbon, so why tashlum would help on the tefillin?
Even
You
if
said
you
because
think-
it's mako.
Even if you
it's a
think
double
of
standard.
eating it, not in the time, already it's no good, right? And here you're doing it after the time for sure is no good.
Let's explain like this.
Musaf, you could do after the time.
Let's explain like
That's
this.
up your question.
Yeah.
Let's explain like this. The Maisa is, the Iker problem is that other tefillas, in a chanami, a carbon doesn't have tashum. L'mashal, how could I be mincha daven 2 myers? How does it help? You didn't have any tashum by the carbon. The answer is that I'm not reading, as long as I'm not actually reading psukim of karbanis, it's okay. Because it's not, the tefillah was based on the tmidin, but L'maisa, the tefillah has a keneged, but keneged corresponds to the karbanis, but the tefillah is a thing for itself.
It's a standalone.
I'm as long as I'm not reading psukim or karbanis, I'm not clearly saying kilo I'm being makrivit l'shem carbon, mispal l'shem carbon. Musaf, every musaf
Really?
reads, you
Musaf
read the
after
psukim
carbon.
of the musaf carbon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You read the psukim of the musaf carbon. So how can at night, when already it's no longer the zman of musaf, I read karbanis psukim? I can't read it at night.
So how does it work?
has to be done.
What?
Still be
Oh, so
good.
then-
You can't. That's why you
Yeah,
don't have
that's why
to
Muslim-
That's
that's
one
Muslim.
reason Muslims don't shul. A second reason. The whole reason why we do the Zayin brachas of Musaf is because it says in the pasuk when the Shalma Parim of the same. Today we can't bring karbanis. In the Shalma Parim we're going to pay up bulls.
With our mouth.
Mitzvah saying it with our mouths. So now, when it comes to this concept of Tashlumin, that you wanna say Musaf, the whole inyan of Musaf is just to be corresponding to the Karbanis. The other davening tefillas, there's an inyan you should daven every day. It's not only connected to the carbon, it has a connection to the carbon, but there's an inyan of davening every day. Musaf is mamish connected to the carbon. Musaf, I already davened today. I davened Shachris. I'm davening 3 times. Why am I davening an extra tefillah? Just connected to carbon musaf. It's called carbon musaf. Called musaf. It's mamish connected musaf. So how can I read that at night? It's for sure klapi this we say over zmani batar karbani. When it comes to Shachris, Shachris has 2 aspects to itself. It's a bakashas rachamim. I have to daven 3 times to Hashem rach. Chazal connected it to the zman of the karbanis to correspond to the karbanis. So it has 2 aspects. There's an yanim, there's an inyan to make a zeicha to the carbon. And there's also an inyan about kashas rachamim. You need to ask rachamim. Masha'inki musaf, the ikr musaf is not bakashas rachamim. I already have a kashas rachamim. My ikr thing is here to make a zeicha. I suffered like. So here there's mamish no inyan in that. It's not just the fact that I can't read these psukim. The entire tefillah doesn't belong at night. The entire tefillah is zeicha b'karbon musaf. Tefillah we say, by Shemon Esrei we actually say, Halavai, the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan said, Halavai, shispalo adam kol hayoyim. Halavai, a person should daven a whole day. There's an inyan, a person should daven. If we have to go work, we have to do things, we're not tzaddikim. But l'maisa, an inyan, it's an inyan that it's in daven a whole day.
What you do with the mitzvahs?
But you
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Talmud
mitzvahs.
Torah isn't Talmud Torah.
No, in the time that you don't have to do a mitzvah. You're sitting around the whole day. Halavai, shispalo kol hayoyim. You have to be on the madrega, right? Those people that are learning Torah, those that are the Bali Tefillah. You know?
So why don't we have passages in the Mincha and the Shachris connected to Korban?
We don't have. Why
not? Why would
because the Iker Shachris the
Mincha did not instant.
It's a good kasha, but it seems from here.
Why by Musaf is a standalone? And then it seems why by Musaf it's a special formula of Hakrovus and Kabbanis.
A good kasha.
So why is
it seems that Chazal really. I one time saw some Acharim discuss it. I have to look it up again years ago, but it seems Chazal, the inyan of davening every day, was irrespective of etzem of the Kabbanis.
They also by Bisman Shabbos Mikdash Yikayim. They also daven while they brought the Kabbanis.
There's an inyan of bakashas rachim every day. That's nothing to do with the carbon. There's a second idea in the tefillah. Chazal connected to the zeicha to the karbanis. But most of it seems is mamish just a standalone, just a big as a zeicha. So therefore, by tefillah, shachris and mincha. No, I even once I davened once. I davened shachris. If I brought my carbon taven again, you could daven again a lot of Shemon Esreis. You could daven tefillas nadava. As long as you mechadish something in the tefillah, you add something new. You could daven a tefillas nadava. Alavai shispalo kol hayoyim.
Not say something else that the Siddur says. What do you mean?
Yeah, you have to add in the tefillah. Let's say Rufeinu, you'll say refuah shleima for a certain chayla.
Certain person.
But what do you do with Salach Lonu, Rashi, B'Shotem?
No, but
you repeat that again?
Well,
there's no Baal Tosef on that?
No, everything. All of them. You have to, there's a sheet of the holes, you have to mechadish something in every bracha.
But if you don't mechadish, if you don't mechadish, it's the...
The poil, I think, we're making all the mechadish of one bracha. One bracha.
And what about the other brachas?
It's enough, one bracha is enough. One bracha drags with it all.
Oh, so there's no Baal Tosef.
No, because you can't say one bracha.
You know that there were chassidim amal, older chassidim, Chabad chassidim. They daven for hours long. They daven for hours.
Well, on the same thing, didn't repeat it. the Shemona Esrei 8 times a day.
Okay,
20 times a
okay,
day.
but the concept.
They were contemplating.
But the
Every
concept.
word, and they said it.
See them like the
He was
Gemara
talking
said.
about repetition.
Okay.
They got in 5 minchas.
Okay.
10.
But
That's
the
what you're talking
concept-
about. You're talking about the contemplation.
You could. But that's only if a person who already did it that Shemoneh Esrei, but the person's still holding the same Shemoneh Esrei. Avayis Yispal Kol Hayom. Meaning the inyan tefillah be'etzem, etzem a person's supposed to always be connected to Hashem. L'maisa, we're not mechayiv you to feel that feeling of oyimid l'fnei HaMelech the whole time. But tzaddikim, special people, want to feel like they're always connected to Hashem, never leave Hashem. They're always connected to Hashem. They're having learning a whole day, and that's it. So that's it. They're always with Hashem. That's our whole real shlichus and hazeh. We're only here we need to make parnasa. We need to do other. We need to rest. We need to eat and drink just to give us koyach avodas Hashem. The Rambam writes, keeping your body healthy. It's not just stamazoi. It's part of avodas Havdalah. Midarki avodas Hashem. The Rambam says it's part of avodas Hashem. The Rambam actually explains that. Yeah, the Rambam explains that when a person thinks that all his things he does for Hashem, and he eats exactly what he needs to eat, what's good for the body. You sleep what you need to sleep. You do it all with a kavanah to have koyach with Hashem. You live your whole life Hashem Shemayim.
It's a big mitzvah.
Big Hashem Shemayim. We're not in these madregas, but we have to know what the reality is. This is what really we're supposed to be living with Hashem constantly.
But the
Yeah, but you gotta go to work also.
Make a bracha,
you tell
eat,
another
so you can make a
it's
bracha.
gonna be Hanukkah and all that stuff, you know. If
you don't wanna make a bracha,
you're
stop.
not gonna be
The Balatanya's son said there's a certain milah that the Bali Asik have over the Yisachar, the Yoshvei oil. The Yoshvei oil, those that are sitting in the oil learning and davening all day, they learn about Hashgacha Pratis, how Hashem is involved in running the world. But they know it from the Sefer. But the Baal Asik was on the outlook. He sees Mamash Alikos. He sees Mamash Agila Likos in his life. Because when you're involved in the world, so then where do you see Hashem? Not in a Sefer, not in a Munah. You have a Munah in the Sefer. You actually see it. You see it happening before your eyes that your life is being led and things. So that there's a very big milah that someone think. But what happens to Chas v'Shalom? Someone thinks it's koichi ve'oitzim yadi alsidei sachayel. That would I have all this? So then he's not chapizol. But we're talking about a real Baal Asik, a real Yiddish Shemayim is going to pick up in everything. You know that there was a famous story, the Baal Shem Tov. You know, it's like a simple story, but with a real deep meaning. The story with the Baal Shem Tov that he one time, the Baal Shem Tov always would ask people, how are they doing? How are you parnasa? Why would he speak about these type of things? He wanted to elicit a response for the person. He should say, Baruch Hashem, praise Hashem for it. So anyways, the Baal Shem Tov was one time in a city, and he went in the shul. There was those days a concept of a parish, the Prushim. You have like a yid that sat. He didn't look out of his dalaramas his whole life. He sat in the shul, and he learned the whole day. And he sat on the same chair for 50, 60 years, and he learned that a special yid. Didn't know shaykhis to Olam Hazeh. So Baal Shem Tov went over to a parish, such a parish, and he went over to him and asked him, how's he doing? You know, the parish didn't really want to be bothered. He's learning and this. Right? So Baal Shem Tov asked him, you know, how is your... Shana asked him, how's his parnasa and everything like that. So the Shiloh, the Rebbe one time discussed this, and he said, what did the Baal Shem Tov want from the parish? The parish is learning a whole day. He's always connected to Hashem. He said, and if he wants to speak to him and get him to say Baruch Hashem, he should ask him about his learning. You shouldn't ask him about how does he live and how does he live and have parnasa, to food to eat. Why is he asking about that? Ask him about his learning. How's the learning going? How was he mechadish chiddush? So why is he focusing on the parnasa and the gashmis?
Yeah.
Even if he wanted to listen to Baruch Hashem, so he explained like this: the Baal Shem Tov wanted him to realize that wanted the part to bring out by the parish. The Baruch Hashem is not only the limud. The Baruch Hashem is not only the limud. The Baruch Hashem is on the Gashmis. See Hashem, find Hashem even in the Gashmis, the Keparnasa that you have. There you should realize it. So you wanted the Parish should realize it over there. The Parish asked him, the Parish said something to him. I don't remember what the Parish said, like, what? Why is he asking? So the Baal Shem Tov said to him, Baal Shem Tov said a Taish, V'ata Kodesh Yoishiv Tihilus Yisrael. V'ata Kodesh, you Kodesh, Yoishiv. You know what in Yiddish, how do you say, when you want to say someone has Parnasa, you say, Avaz Zitztu. What are you sitting on? Like, what it's an expression. What are you depending on? Right. So you say, V'ata Kodesh, you Kodesh, the Eibishter, Yoishiv, what sits there? What are the Eibishter sitting on? What does he get his Parnasa from? Kaviyachol? Tehillas Yisrael. When he hears the Tehillas Yisrael, the Baruch Hashem, and the praising Hashem, that's how the Eibishter's Yoishiv, Kaviyachol, that's the Nachas that the Eibishter gets from the Yisrael. That was the
Yeah, we say Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh.
But the point is, we know Kaddish, 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 but the Kaddish has to be in our day-to-day life. It's one thing you go to the shul, and then you Kaddish, 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 it's all beautiful. And Shir, and the Fabreing, and the Tefillah, everything's beautiful. Then we go out to reality. And we forget the real reality, and that reality takes over. That's the whole Avodas Hashem. The whole Avodas Hashem is to carry out into the day-to-day life. Come to the home, and we come to the workplace and the street. That we should look what we're supposed to do what we're supposed to do. Sur Meirah, say Toiv, that's the difficult part. And with shul, things are good in shul. In general. That's the Mokim, the Ari Miklat. The Ari Miklat of Yima Shcheil of Beis HaMedrash. You go to Beis HaMedrash, you empower yourself. But ultimately, it's the Teva, exactly. But ultimately, Noach was told, same in a Teva. You know why he said, why did he have to have a special tzivui, a command to leave the Teva? They were stuck in that Teva for a whole year. When that Mabel ended, they right away should open the door and jumped out of there. What's it same in a Teva? It says in Sfarim that in the Teva, there was Shoira Hashra that was like in the Zman of Mashiach. It was a very big Gilui. Inside the Teva, the animals didn't fight with each other. The whole was Nissi, the whole table was one big nest that went on. All having everyone in there and everything. The whole thing was one big Benesso Yoimdin, the table. So in there was a Zman, it was a peaceful Zman. That Zman, in that Teva, the Gehesh that was ruling a different Zman. It was a Zman of La'as. When it came, when the Zman of Mabel was over, they didn't want to leave the table.
Why should we? That's
They didn't want to leave the table.
Like the Dara Mikvah.
Life was good. Like the mice with the Daramid of the Raglim. What was the real Meraglim? They were Anshe Shem, Choshev people, hand-picked by Moshe Rabbeinu. Why did they want to go into Eretz Yisrael? How could it be they fell so low? They had such a munah. Why were they so in the spal? They saw the giants.
Why they have to go to work? They have a koilo here.
They had a koil of life. They had clouds around them. They washed.
Mon, the clothing didn't wear out, had air conditioning from the
yeah, they said, now we're going to have to go out. So all is going to go. We're going to have to work the land. You have to plow and work the land. Daven for rain, everything. But the tachlis was to go in. So the same in our teva is, you have to go. This tak and avoida of boyal teva. The Baal Shem, the beautiful taich. What does it mean boyal teva? What is the Mayim Rabbim? The Mayim Rabbim represents the waters of Olam, the troubling waters of Olam Hazeh. You find in the pasuk says in Shir Hashirim, Mayim Rabim LaYuchul Lichbeis Ha'ava, or the Haris LaYishtefur. The Avas Hashem, Mayim Rabim, great waters cannot extinguish the light of that Ava. When the Haris, the rivers LaYishtefur will not flood it. The love. So the Mayim Rabim that we saw by the Teva, the Mabul, was the Mayim of Olam Hazeh. A person has in his life the flood of Elam Hazeh, the Machshava Zaris, or the Tirdas HaParnasa, things that all the Machshavas about this world, how I live, how am I going to survive, what am I going to do, what's going to be next minute, the next minute tomorrow, all the Machshavas of Havdalah Hazman of Elam Hazeh, the Mayim Rabbim. The Eibush said, Boy El Ateva. How do you save yourself from this Mayim Rabbim, the Tirdas of Elam Hazeh? Go into the Teva. What's a Teva? The word Teva, Lashon Kodesh, means word. Word. Boy El Teva, come into the words of Torah and Tefillah. The Oisius, the word. Boy El Teva. Throw yourself into Torah and Tefillah. And that's the way, Shekoyach, that's the way you're going to save yourself from the thing. But then, ultimately, that's how you matzah yourself. But ultimately, the avoid is not to stay a whole day in the teva. Same in the teva. There has to be the avoid where you know when you need to be empowered. So you need the shear, you need the davening to empower you, and then you go back out and you carry that message, that inspiration with you into the world. And that's how you go till the next tefillah, till you daven mincha, till you daven meir, till you go to the shear on Shabbos, you vibrate, whatever it is that keeps you going, and that's what keep you going through the day. And as Lamaisi, we got off track.
But still,
Siv
why,
Gimel.
yeah, but why b'zeh sepecha torcha lechem zaklol? How do you reconcile that?
It's the actual
It doesn't
thing.
say sheshes yom and tavim b'mlach. Not part of the minyan of mitzvahs. It's sheshes yom. Sheshes yom and tavim b'mlach. It's not part of it. It's not even a mitzvah either. Why is it not part of the minyan of mitzvahs?
I'll tell you. By the way, there's a medrash that says, Hilchos somewhere, Sheishes Yomim Tasa Malacha, Mitzvah Mitzvah Say.
It is. But you won't find.
We don't know. We don't count in the way of mitzvahs.
But it is still a mitzvah.
But the fact is that the concept of Sheishes Yomim Asa Hashem is not just Stam Sheishes Yomim Asa Hashem. That's the Avodah. The Avodah is Sheishes Yomim Asa Hashem. Boirer on Shabbos is also boirer during the week is mutter. Why? Boirer, the inyan of taking psoilus, the rad of the toy, that's the avodah of the week. You have the avodah. The avodah is to work with the Welt, deal with the Welt. Shabbos is Meloshin Shavas. You return, you come back to yourself, you go back away from the Welt, retreat, get chayis, get koiches, and after Shabbos back into the Welt, and be mavar of the Welt. Boirer, work with the Welt. Take away the psoilus. The Rash Shabbos is no psoilus. Shabbos is no psoilus. Shabbos is the union of kedusha. You don't focus on the psoilus. You only take out the toiv. We only focus on the toiv. This is the essence of the shaila you're asking. Deeper is really what was the whole chaytis adas? Nothing was an accident. Ultimately, when we believe hashgacha pratis, right? Even before the Baal Shem came, Hashgacha Pratis, Baal Shem taught another level of Hashgacha Pratis. Before all of our Chachamim hold Hashgacha Pratis on the Mina Adam. A Mina Adam. A human being, a person has Hashgacha Pratis. Everything in his life is guided by Hashem. It means like this: if you got hit, someone hit you, Chas v'Shalom, you were supposed to be hit. The shaila is, how do we tie them together with Bechira Chavshes, that person had free choice, wasn't forced to hit you. Because he had free choice, otherwise we can't punish him for it, right? Schar v'aynish. We have a concept of Bechira Chavshes, that a human being has free choice to choose between Tov and Ra, is one of the Ikari Amunah. On the other hand, one of the Ikari Amunah is that nothing happens in this world without Hashem. So how do we match it together? It's a long discussion, but the Nekudas Hadvarim is, that person hit from his own free will. Hashem didn't tell him to hit. He was a guy that likes to hit. But the fact that you punked were there at that time, and Hashem arranged that you were there and some episode happened, and all the occurrences that happened, that this happened, you, the Lashon, the Balatanya is, al ha-nizik kvar nigzam in Hashemayim. The nizik, the one who was damaged, it was already exerim in Hashemayim, he was supposed to be damaged. The mazik, that was not Xera. The mazik was his bechira that he was with. But al nizik kvar nigzam in Hashemayim.
Yeah, but it comes out if you're in the wrong
comes
place.
Out, he's a shliach. Comes out, he was
but
a
it's
shliach.
on his will.
But he did it on his own. But he was a shliach. But Baltani continues on. He had other ways he could have done it. He could have punished you, hit with someone else, with an animal, with a person. Here we came to Eibush shliach because Eibush arranged it that he should be the one. Not that he arranged it, he should do it. He himself did it. He's a person who, if you would see such a person doing this, you're standing near him at that time when he's upset, whatever it is, and he hit. Yeah. But it's not pshat that the Eibush told him to hit, but the Eibush knows he's gonna. This is his teva.
I mean, he has a propensity to do that.
Yeah. And the Eibush knows that if he's gonna be in this situation, that he's gonna hit. So he put you there, but you were put there. The Eibush didn't know that he's gonna. That was the whole plan. That was the whole plan.
It was a few hours.
If there was no Chaytit Adas, we didn't need the world. The whole world here,
Not just.
the world would all be malachim. Everyone would only be, there'd be bnei Adam would be like malachim. There'd be no Yetzirah, no toiv v'ra. There'd be no free choice. There's no ra. If there's no ra in the world, there's no ra in the world. There's no bad. There's no choice. There's no fun, right? There's no. The whole game is actually the whole game, quote unquote, is that we have to be koivish to ra. We have an asayin, and that's the avodah. But if there's just malachim, then what's the chiddush?
So why Adam Rishon was punished? With Nisa.
Good kasha.
With Nisa.
The answer the same way. The same way.
That was preordained.
The same way the guy hit the person, he's also punished. He's a mazik. Adam Rishon did it in his own free will, but Hashem set it up in a way that he knew that he knew
he's
Adam.
Gonna trip.
He knew Adam's gonna do it. Knowing is not compelling. Hashem's idea
is not his
going to compel his ratzon. Just because this person's a Navi says, I know this is going to happen. This person's going to do this. It means he compelled him? No. Knowledge doesn't compel. It's a idea. The Eibush says, he knows the future. Saf kol saf, Daveiras are also Ashkacha Pratis. The outcome of Daveira. The actual, what the person did, the person doing it, the Ma'isa Aveira, that person has to take responsibility for the Ma'isa Aveira. But the outcome of that Aveira, the tumor that it brought in the world, that was supposed to come into the world. It's a very edel discussion. You have to be very careful with these things.
But you're making it sound like it's a mitzvah to go out in the world, in order.
Not anymore than you have to. No, not anymore than you have to.
It's hard to reconcile all these things. It's somewhat inconsistent.
A person has to go into the world the minimum amount that he has to go into the world. You're not supposed to go into the world more than you have to go into the world. It means is that this is a fact of life. The fact of life is that the Eibishter made it in a way there's going to be chet das, there's going to be bezeyas apachat oichalechem. You're going to have to work with the sweat of your palms, right? You're going to have to work hard. That's part of the avoid, and a person's parnasa only comes with only yichidus gula to have that koyach that they could do it. We all know that the koyach lifestyle is not working out so well in a lot of communities, and a lot of tremendous problems coming with it and different issues. It's not in Europe. It wasn't like that, right? It didn't send everyone to. It's a new thing. I'm not gonna. I'm saying Akopanim. We know that. I could speak for the Lubavitcher Rebbe Zatzal that it wasn't his Mahalach, the Satmar Rebbe, the Chassidish Mahalach wasn't that way. You know, maybe now it's being a little mushba for the Litvische. Even the Litvische Mahalach for sure wasn't that way in Europe. Although the Litvische Gedolim of this store seemed to have a little different schnit. But Lamaisa, ultimately, for majority Ruba de Ruba Klal Yisrael, they have to be involved with your life, and that's not pshat. You have to. That's the avodah. Since you have to, that was the avodah. It was set up that way that you should have to go out. If you sit in Beis Medrash all day, you have no nisyonis. And there's a halacha al tivienu. We say in davening every morning. We wake up. We say al tivienu l'dei nisoyin. We say in the brachas, don't bring us to nisoyin. You're not allowed to bring yourself to nisoyin. But a person, a human being, is always has nisyonis. There's no choice about it in life. There's always nisyonis. Even a guy who's learning all day has nisyonis. But most people don't even have that. Most of us have to be might have to be yoshvei koronis. Some people have to be working out in the street and in the outside where it's a yoshvei koronis. It's a public area and there's goyim around. There's different things and there's temptations. There's olam hazas in our eyes. That is the fact of life. It's not that is the way Hashem set it up because that's part of our shlichus, it's part of our avodah to work with the belt. It's becoming a chassidus shir over here, but or avodas Hashem shir. But B'maisa, the point is that that's the tachlis. The lashon of the medrash in Parshas Nosei, las is lo yizbar nisava kadosh baruch hu the eibush had a taiva. Las is lo yidir yizbarach with achtoinim. He wanted that the achtoinim in this world should be a dira for him. What do you mean tachtoinim? He's sitting in Beis Medrash all day. That's not tachtoinim. In the tachtoinim should be there. You're not allowed to go into the tachtoinim dafke. But as much as you have to be involved in the world, be mekadosh the Welt. Make the Welt a better place. Make a kiddush Hashem. Say a bracha, a rishoyna, a bracha achroyna, wherever you are. You make the place a special place. Altivena l'soyim, you're not allowed to bring upon yourself.
So you said that's
but there's a
part
shlichus in the nisyonis which you are forced to go through. Someone who brings upon himself extra nisyonis,
That's an
it's an avera. But the nisyonis that you have to come through automatically, every
No matter
neshama
what.
comes down to Elam Hazeh. You know, they say the Vilna Gaon, before he was nifter, he took his tzitzis and he kissed his tzitzis.
It's crying.
He was crying. He said, "Where can you get tzitzis? The mitzvah tzitzis and Lamaisa's mitzvahs when the when Moshe Rabbeinu came up on Har Sinai to get the Torah, Malachim said, "To know ha'itchal Shemayim, give your glory the Torah in Shemayim. Why are you giving it there?" So Hashem says, "Moshe, you answer." So the Medrash said, the Gemara says, that Moshe answered back, "Klum Yitzhahara Yish B'nechem Yav Yitzhahara." The Torah was given for those who do have a Yitzhahara. If you don't have a Yitzhahara, you're a Malach. That's not the Torah. Was not for him. Torah Leva Shemayim. Torah is meant to be the Torah Barasa Yitzhahara Barasa Tavlin. Torah is a tavlin, the medicine that helps you go through Elam Hazeh. It's the plank of wood. It's the life-saving jacket that allows us to go through Elam Hazeh to stay above water and stay strong. That's the Bayalatim. So there's the Voida Bayalatim and the Void Seilatim. And you're right. Too much of either one in not the proper way is not correct. It's not correct. Most people, the Gemara says, Harbe also try to do like Rashbi. Shema Yechoy to Terasem and I'll say, but they also be Adam. That's not the derech. The derech is not that derech. Agav, I'll tell you something. You know, we know someone one time asked me a kasha. He says, I said over before, we said about why the Chet Meragim, the deeper meaning why the Meragim didn't want to go to Yisrael was, they didn't want to leave the life of the Ruchnis they had in the Midbar. They didn't want to avoid the Gashmis. It's a shvera life. You're not going to see a Likos the way you see a Likos in the avoid in the Midbar. They didn't want it. What was that Aveira? The Aveira was that's the Shlichus. The Shlichus now, Tseim and Ateva, go out of the cloud and go into Eretz Yisrael. That's the Shlichus. The Shlichus is go into the Gashmis, go into the field, and make that place a Dirullah Yisbarach in Kedusha. So someone who was a smart guy, he asked me a shai like this. We know before the Alter Rebbe was in Stalik, the Balatanya, he was in Stalik on the way he was running away from Napoleon. What happened? Then Napoleon wanted to conquer the world. Napoleon was conquering countries. Napoleon had a war with Russia, with the Tsar. And there was a machloikis between the tzaddikim, which side was better for the Yidden to win. A lot of tzaddikim felt Napoleon is going to bring freedom, thinking, modern thinking. It's going to bring emancipation. It's going to make Gashmias, the Yidden are going to be in a much better level. If they're not going to be persecuted as much. And the Gashmias, the Parnas is going to be better. So they felt it's better to daven for Napoleon. However, the Alter Rebbe, the Balatanya held no. Eina Chanami. Napoleon's going to be better for Gashmias. But for Ruchnias, having such type of Gashmias, it's going to bring the Yidden off. Too much openness and everything, it's going to take Yidden away. So he davened for the Tsar. Not only he davened for the Tsar, he felt that it's mamash klip in Napoleon. Agapoleon was a kishiv macher. It wasn't stama. Napoleon was by the Balatanya had his chassidim help the Tsar. He had a chassid who was very talented and knew a lot of languages, and he had this chassid be a spy for Russia. This chassid was by Napoleon, and was kilo. One time Napoleon felt the secrets are going out. He walked into the room, and he walked right over to Moshe Meislish, his name was, and he put his hand on him, and he put on his hand on his heart right away to feel.
Get nervous.
But he said he learned, later on he told him the story, he said he learned by his Rebbe, the Balatanya, Moyach Shalat al Alev. He was shoylet on his mind, held strong his heart to that not be. What Maisa was, when Napoleon came, because he was one of the big helpers for the Russians, so the Napoleon soldiers coming, they were going after the Alter Rebbe. When they came to the Alter Rebbe, ran away from the city. They came to the city, right away went to his house. And Gansa Maisa, the Alter Rebbe left, the Balatani left, he sent back. He remembered that he left slippers in the house. He didn't want that Napoleon should have any chayfetz of his, because then he could do kishuf on it. So he sent a shliach to go back to the house to burn the house down. When they came already, the house was burning. The Maisa was, he kept on running away, and he was eventually in a stalik on the way when he was running away from Napoleon. He got sick. It was very cold in the winter.
Freezing cold.
It was freezing.
Yeah.
That's eventually what led the Napoleon to lose, because his soldiers weren't used to the cold. They weren't able to fight like the Russians were in the cold. But on the way, when later on when he was in Stalik, his son, the Mittel Rebbe, became the next Rebbe, wrote a long letter explaining on the trip what was going on. At a certain point in the trip, the journey he left, his father sent him to set up a residence in another city further on. So he wasn't there b'shas the stalkus of his father. The Mice is later on, he wrote a long famous letter where he describes the whole trip, like that he was there, and what his father said about Napoleon, how he mamish sees clearly, and Napoleon's mamish ra gomer, and he talked all about it. He's very choishish for what's going to be for Klal Yisrael. It's a very famous letter, long letter. He's mazber ruchni siyana what the clip of Napoleon was. So the Maisa, someone said to me like this. He said, if the Baal Tanya explains this whole story of the Chet HaMeraglim is that they wanted to stay in the clouds and then stay in the Anani HaKavod in the Midbar and not to go into Eretz Yisrael, the Gashmias. So why did he fight Napoleon? He wanted to stay Kilo with the yes, they have the Nisayan. You're right, it's a Nisayan. Napoleon's giving the Nisayan, but that's the Shlichus. This is what he asked. It's a good kasha.
Very good.
He said, how does it stem without the Baal Tanya's Mahalach? He told him it was a big chiluk. Al Tiviyin l'dei Nisayan, right? What when they were told you have to go into Eretz Yisrael, Oli Nale B'Yirashnoi, so now is the time to go into Eretz Yisrael. Now is the time to go to Eretz Yisrael. To see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're not supposed to bring you some Nisayan. If you could stop the Nisayanis, you're not supposed to run it and say, oh, let me have the Nisayanis. Like the famous story that Rebbe Rashab said once. There's someone, he was laughing, he was making fun of a chassid who said, you know, it's nishkein kunz. It's not a kunz to live in Lubavitch and be a chassid. Let me go to the big city, to Petersburg, to Leningrad. Let me go there and live in Petersburg and be a chassid. That's the big city with all the temptations of life. It's not like the shtetl. That's in the Nisayan. In Petersburg, I'm going to go into the movie theater. Showing the whole that lifestyle that they live, adoring that lifestyle. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to keep my eyes closed. Then the person said, you know, that's a kunz. I'll go into the movie theater. Go to Petersburg. I'll go into the movie theater and I'll open my eyes and I still won't be nispal. It's not the avodah. You're going to be nispal. That's not the avodah. We have to know that's not the avodah. You know, it says, the Gemara says, if you put the ben in front of a Beis Hazoynis, ma yasa ben v'layechta. The Ruzhin attached, ma yasa ben. What should a son do? What should a yid do in such a time? Lo yechta. His avoid is lo yechta. Well, the mice is you're not supposed to bring yourself to the Nisayan. So when it comes to Napoleon, there was no shlichus of the Eibishter to be under the reign of Napoleon. So the Alter Rebbe fought it. Lamaisa later on, going 150 years later, came along to Rebbe and said that in 1992 the Rebbe gave a whole sikh and said things changed anymore. The outlook until now was that France and the French represent really modernism and Tumma, real Tumma. French is real Tumma in France. That was Adayem was there, and that was from the Alter Rebbe's times already. It was all against that klippa. Lamaisa, the Rebbe said things are changing now. Kehilas and Yiddishkeit and yeshivas there and so ad kedei kach, the Rebbe earlier years, the Rebbe had changed the Rebbe turned the French anthem. The Chassidim over there changed the French anthem, made it into Chassidish Niggun. When the Chassidim did it, They started singing it like this. Very soon afterwards, the government decided that they have to change the anthem.
Wow.
They have to change the anthem a little bit. Shingavar Chassidische Nig.
Wow.
In Chabad, it's a Chassidish song.
Napoleon's
March.
No. There's two things. One thing is Napoleon's march, and his soldiers, Alter Rebbe asked to find out what Napoleon's soldiers sing to battle. And he's mahapach the niggin that Chassidim should sing the niggin Napoleon's march, that we're victorious. We should use it as a niggin of Nitzachon over the Yetzer Hara. And that's why by Ne'ilah, the Siyum and Ne'ilah, after we say, well, we say, right before Tkiyah Shofar, after we say Shema, Baruch Shem, and Hashem Elokim 7 times, the Rebbe's minig was to start singing the march, Napoleon's march. That we won, we're victorious over the Yetzer Hara. We got Tshuva, we're victorious over the Yetzer Hara at the ending of the Kippur. Atki Dekach, the Rebbe would get up on his, in the early years, the Rebbe would get up on his chair. Something very unique. The Rebbe got up on his chair, and the whole 770, the ending of Yom Kippur, was singing the march. Until then was serious. But now that we're finished, now we're going with the Nitzach and a march. We're going into the Elam Hazah, finishing Yom Kippur with a march of Nitzach, and we won. So in the later years, the Chassidim built for the Rebbe a platform. The Rebbe would go up steps. He would go up one step. As the singing, the Rebbe went up the next step, and the Moed did the song even louder until he got to the top step. But later on years, the Rebbe took the actual French anthem. The French anthem actually became Lubavitch sings for Hadaras Hamuna. The words of Hadaras Hamuna Melachai
But still nigga though.
They changed it. They made a change.
What's the shino?
The Goyim.
You have to ask the Frenchies, but they made a change. They made a change to the anthem.
No wonder that sounds
The Rebbe said things changed now. The Alter Rebbe ran away from Napoleon. Now it's like the avoid of the Meraglim. Now the avoid is not to run away from France. Meaning the avoid is France could have a birur. In the Alter Rebbe's times, France was not. You're not able to invite or refine France. France is off limits. That's an Asoy you're not supposed to go into. Later on in our times became that no, France could also be Nizbar. Different kufas and tzaddikim let us know what we were allowed to, what we're allowed to do. That was a big chiddush. It was a very big chiddush of the.
But today in France,
for Chassidim was a very big chiddush because Alter Rebbe himself went. His own Alter Zayda fought Napoleon, and here the Rebbe says things changed. It said the Alter Rebbe went away from Napoleon. We don't have to run away from Napoleon anymore. Even the clip of Napoleon itself could be Nizbar.
But you know what I heard here from I don't know what the newsletters or whatever with the Lubavitch, the top shliach that was in France. He was said since the problems with the Muslims, like 60% of the Jewish kids left public school and they registered in yeshivas because they can't be. So that's Mamash Bibur by itself.
But they can't wear yarmulkes.
They feel like a Yidden.
No, in Hakanamas, so they start to go to yeshiva.
But they can't wear yarmulkes in France on the street.
That's why they went to yeshiva. They left public school. Now, because they're Muslims. It's an amazing thing.
The ones that are oil to Eretz Yisrael, that's what the Gedolim hold. It's not so posh that you should leave France because when they're going to Eretz Yisrael,
Gets worse.
because they're going to the secular public schools and it's a big problem.
They let you to pay for education.
Yeah. They have a lot of amunah. You meet the Yidden from France, everything. They're very traditional. Very, very traditional.
You know what I read, in France, the government pays the religious, like the Lahabdul, the Lachim, and but it's called Consistoire. But you know what I heard? That all the things under the Consistoire, it's like 500 things, shuls, mikvahs, it's all Orthodox.
Yeah.
There's no reform thing that's paid for. No, I mean, it's a
You have to understand that Bechlal, there's very little reform and conservative outside of the United States.
It started in Germany, Rabbi.
Yeah, but
it started in Germany. The
United States, besides for the biggest Hafkedus in the whole world, is in the United States.
Right.
Everywhere else in the world, in London, all the shuls that have the chief rabbi, it's all Orthodox, and all the shuls belong to the union. I forgot what it's called. It's all Orthodox. In South Africa, it's all came out all Orthodox. It's all centralized. They have one Beis Din, one Beis Din. They have a Vadair, a Kehila, Chief Rabbi. In America, never happened. The reason why America didn't happen was because America was founded by people that weren't. The Yiddishkeit here was started by people that weren't from. Because you have to remember, America was a trade for Medina. No one came to America. So when America, everyone lived in Europe for 1,000 years. You're living in the same spot. They're living in Bells for 1,000 years, right? When they came to Poland, they said a drasha, Poland is Poland. Here we're here to stay.
That's what your Rebbe said.
Until they came to the Holocaust, this was the place to be, right? Now going to live in America was no infrastructure of Yiddishkeit. That was it. It was came out over, aside for a handful of people who could survive in the Zionis, all the kids, no yeshiva, they came out from.
But also
Nothing here. So I said until after World War II. Until after World War II, it was a tremendous insight to be a from Yid in America. After World War II, because of what happened in Europe during the war, so all the refugees came here. So all the from people came here. So then you have all the kehilas. You have Borough Park and Williamsburg and Lower East Side, everything filled up.
It didn't happen overnight.
It happened with Satmar Rebbe and with Moshe Feinstein.
Yeah, but you still get centrality.
Took time, and people, they came, but the refugees came, the from refugees, but because of this, the whole United States things were started off backwards. So the federations and all the temples and all the things are here for many years, and they were running things in a very modern way. And when the establishment was modern, the establishment was modern. Mashenkin and all these other places, the establishment was started by from people. When they went to Australia, and when they went to South Africa, these places, they went before World War II.
Early 1800s.
They went much earlier. From a Yid went there and made kehilas there. For Lithuania, the Little, when they made kehilas there, was established by from a Yid. Ad Hayom Hazeh, all these places, intermarriage is nowhere near as close to the United States. Everywhere, all the people, even if they don't keep a lot of mitzvahs, but they're very traditional. They're very traditional. They come to shul, maybe they drive to shul, but they come to the from shul and the from rabbi, they get married off, and they see the kiddushim by from, and they get it. Even in Eretz Yisrael today, the fact that Eretz Yisrael, the whole Rabbanut, is from is mind-boggling, right? The most of Eretz Yisrael is not from people, right? And here you have that the Rabbanut is mamish, Gittin and Kiddushin is all in the hands of from people. So it's not to believe, right? The biggest hefkerus is in the United States. This is the way it is. Reform and conservative had the most full. They were not able to make a. In Eretz Yisrael, an Israeli who's secular wants to go to Shul Yom Kippur. He doesn't go to Reform. He goes to a Shul.
Regular Orthodox.
He says, I am not keeping the Torah mitzvahs, but when I go, I do the real thing.
He does the real thing.
He got the real thing.
No, he's the papa. There's also Reform.
It's American style stuff. Doesn't go for them.
But they can't
to go to Ma'ariv, everybody says. They're getting koyach. The koyach that they have is not so much from the pressure from with Eretz Yisrael. It's really because American jury is coming. Reform big knackers are coming saying we give money to Israel, we donate to you, and here my wife can't be recognized as a Jew, and you don't look. We fund the state so much money, so the main pressure is not from within. The main pressure comes from outside, from the American Jews that are going there and putting pressure.
Because they give them.
And they're making all these things. Believe me, there's no major request in Eretz Yisrael that the men and women, the women should have their praying. There's no major request in Israel for it. It's not a very big movement. They have a few interesting people, and they got together, but there's no major big movement there. The left wing in Israel, secular, that's it. They're not coming to the wall. They're not coming and making a whole big deal. If they come to shul, they come to the regular shul. It's a whole different mahalach. American Jew doesn't understand this whole mahalach. They don't understand the way it's in Europe and all these places. The Ashkenazim, which are in Australia, in England, in South Africa, the Ashkenazim there are sort of like Sfardim. Like you have Sfardim have strong Emunah, because they didn't have all the secularism, reform, conservative. They had Kehillah so strong up until when they had to leave the Sfardish lands.
Yeah.
It was very strong. They didn't have all this modern. But Maisa, you have Ashkenazi Yidden over there, you have the same thing. You have a lot of Yidden that are not necessarily from, like in every area. Very traditional. Marrying a goy, chas v'sholem. basic kashas, yeah.
They
Come
keep
to
records
shul
of the
Friday
marriages
night,
also.
you know.
Of marital status. They keep records also.
Yeah, there's a lot of
How
things
it's
that
the
are
first
like
marriage, second
Sfardim.
marriage. You can't find out how many times the person was
Believe me,
married
there's
here.
problems there too. But I'm saying,
Sure.
But not like over here, though.
the secularists that have a Yid in America that knows nothing about his Yiddishkeit. He's a 5th generation Yankee. That is already 5 generations not from. You don't have that in these countries.
They even know how
Over there, they don't even know there's Jews in America. They don't even know what you want from them. They're not, so shaykh. They know nothing besides for the fact that passed down that they're Jewish. Nothing more. They're only b'shem Yisrael and Yechona. They just know we're over here. That's all.
See what the Rebbe is doing out there, Mazeh?
Yeah, the Chiddush the Rebbe said you could take a 5th generation Yankee that
You
lives
make it
somewhere in
from a Yid.
Montana and Wyoming, and if you're going to tell him he's a Yid and you're going to speak to him, he's going to put on tefillin and it's going to be Nesayr the Pintel Yid. But if you're talking from a Seichel Dika perspective, he has nothing.
Logically, you can't.
A New York Jew, you could say there are a lot of Jews in New York that the grandfather was from. The father was from the great grandfather.
They
They
still
remember.
remember it
They
still.
remember Zayda.
Vaguely.
They remember Shul. They know what a knish is, like a filter fish. You know, something happens something Yiddish. But Lamaisa out there, you're dealing with a situation. You know, you deal with tri-state area, the East Coast is different. You deal with a place over here. There's Shabbos today, then there's nothing there. Anyways,
I like the whole idea.
I want to say one word going to Arizal's yard site. That Arizal was maspid his own Rebbe, the Ramak, Moshe Kadavara, when he was in Stalik. By the Levi, he gave a hesped. And he said in the Pasuk, it was that the parish of the week, we said, V'chi Yamus Ish, V'selis Eis. When a person is killed, right? Gets killed, skila, he has to be hung afterwards. V'selis Eis to be hung for a while. L'maisei si dorish v'chiyamus ish. If a person is nifter, he don't have any reason why he should be nifter because he was such a tzaddik. He didn't do any aveira, so why should he be nifter? The selisoy salates should be toilet on the eitz and eitz adas. The only thing is because it was an eitz adas. Because of the Chaydiz Adas was Niknis and Misa al-Oilam. So the only reason he was nifter was only not because Bechet Yamos. Because of the Chilasili Soy that is all the same thing like gesagt as the Eigen Rebbe, that is all line. So given Sadiqim was only because they're amazed, like the Gemara says, Be'ita Shal Nachash. Be'ita Shal Nachash. Because of the Nachash they were nifter, no other.
When's he got tonight?
Tonight until